Hello, students, Chamberlain University. Welcome back to the course Principles of Ethics, ETHC 445N. Here we are, week five. What I would like for you to do is take your right hand, almost like you're getting ready to give a oath or a pledge, and then I want you to reach back there. Yeah. Give yourself a pat on the back. You have successfully you have successfully gotten through the first half of the course here, and you are, I guess, technically a little bit past the halfway point since this isn't a true 8 week course. But again, just wonderful job here through week four. Here we are in week five, where we will investigate what about choice and consequences. The cadence of this module is similar to the first four modules there, where you've got a good overview of the ethical theories that we're going to talk about this week. Um, and so you'll have an opportunity to kind of get grounded and rooted in the context. And what I really want you to do here in this week is concentrate on those bold claims or claims of duty that's at the bottom of overview. What is our duty? What might have claims upon us to do our duty? And then what if we desire to make exceptions to doing our duty? And what if we fail to do our duty? So, uh, can't uh, ethics go a long way in having us vet out some of those issues there? And I think this is a really good example, too, of how you can see how morals, which are personal morals, kind of transition into ethics, which are these same principles but are widely more broadly accepted. And then when they're really broadly accepted, they get codified into law. So this is a really kind of good progression for us to see how that process works. And in today's lecture, or in the lecture for uh, week five, we get into some, real pressing issues of our time, which would be abortion. So I'd like for you to keep an open mind no matter what position you have on the issue. Like for you to keep an open mind while you're reading the content, watch the embedded videos there. And you may even want to do your own research as well, especially once we start getting to the discussion board postings and the critical thinking assignments. You may want to broaden your horizons a little bit. We also talk about the death penalty in this particular lecture as well. And again, I'm going to remind you to, or encourage you, I should say, to keep an open mind. I know that these issues can be very crystallizing, but all of these ethical issues, they're really on a continuum. You've got uh, your pros on one side of the spectrum and your cons on the other side of the spectrum. But then when you look at society, society is kind of located on the entire curve of that spectrum. Okay. So part of this may be for you to see where you are on the spectrum. Are you more pro, or are you more con? And why? What evidence can you use to support your positions on abortion, the death penalty, and the categorical imperative that you'll also cover in this lecture? And then the final thing you'll talk about is environmental ethics, which, depending on when you're listening to this uh, video, and actually maybe it doesn't depend on when you're listening to this video, but certainly there's an all-out assault right now on the environment and on environmental controls and on environmental protections, in my opinion. So I'd be interested for those of you that, if that topic resonates with you, I'd be interested to read your positions on that and see what kind of support you can provide for your positions. And actually, that would be true on all of those issues as well, the death penalty and abortions. And so that gets us right to the discussion board posting. And I always will encourage you and downright insist that you please read the module lectures, watch the module videos, and do the chapter reading. Chapter 8 and chapter 9 for this week. Please do that before attempting the discussion board, posting, and the critical thinking assignment, okay? And just to remind you there, over the first couple of weeks, I was somewhat lenient on the support that you have for the discussion board postings and the critical thinking assignments, but we're well into the course now. And so I'm checking very much so that you have two sources listed in your discussion board postings, one scholarly source and then one source from the textbook, okay? That's how you'll score at the top of the rubric when it asks for the line there where it says how well that you integrate the sources, and then also on the APA format as well. So you need eight APA in-text citations to meet the APA requirement, but keep in mind that there's also a separate line item on the rubric that asks how well you integrated the sources that you did use, okay? So please read your prompt here. We're talking about Kant ethics and specifically categorical imperatives. And so I'm going to encourage you to read that. And then two postings on two separate days. Please make sure you do not post before the first Monday in week 5, or you will not get any credit for that posting for that week, okay? Pretty sure by now you guys are kind of with that cadence, but I still want to remind you. So we've got what I would call a seminal submission here in week 5, and that is an annotated bibliography. And that bibliography will have a minimum of 5 sources. I'm going to put some additional resources out there for the annotated bibliography, but I want you to be sure that you understand what an annotated bibliography is, because it is not a review, it is not a lit review. It's not a source review, but it's actually a critique of those sources there. Um, and I'll put some additional information out there that will assist you there, but I want you to be uh, crystal clear on your approach for this critical thinking assignment needs to be as an annotated bibliography and not a report or not a review, okay? So you're going to answer the question there, and the question has to do with your personal or communal ethical factors that may be involved in determining your moral position on either side of the debate. Then you're going to articulate and then elevate your ethical position using Kantian ethics. And then you're going to create a complete annotated bibliography of 5 academic sources where you will annotate each source. The source should be relevant to your topic chosen in week 3. So let's just put a pause there, okay? Remember, when we talk about academic sources or scholarly sources, we're talking about sources that come from peer reviewed journal articles, that come from academic textbooks, that come from .edu websites, that come from .gov websites, okay? Those are the only acceptable sources for this assignment. If it's coming from any other source, then it would not qualify as an academic source. Now, when we say the source must be annotated, that means that you must uh, use the source itself to answer the question and to provide the evidence for answering the question, okay? So you're not giving a review or you're not giving a report, but you are giving an annotated response to the prompt or to the questions using the source, okay? So your annotations must include the publication date, the annotations themselves, and I don't see a word count here. There's a really good example there. I would say usually an annotation is somewhere between 150 to 200 words. I would not have anything less than 100 words for sure, because then it wouldn't have sufficient rigor. So each of your annotations should include those bullet points there, summarizing the key points, describing the controversies, stating explicitly if you agree or disagree with reasons, locating quotes, and those aren't direct quotes, those are paraphrase quotes. And then evaluate ways in which the article is important and helps you focus on your understanding. So here's a really good example of an annotated bibliography there under the submission prompt. Not sure how many words that is right there, but again, a good annotated bibliography uh, should have about 150. Why don't we just say between 100 and 150 words? Now, I want you to be careful here because in this example, they're using direct quotes, but you are at the master's level, and you should not be using direct quotes. So I want you to paraphrase your sources. I do not want you to use direct quotes, okay? Please paraphrase your sources on your annotated bibliography. And then finally, there, the entire submission should be about 4 to 7 pages, 1 inch margins, double space with a 12-point font. If you did your annotated bibliography correctly, technically you do not need a reference page because the references would be at the top of each annotation. So it is okay if you don't have a reference page as long as your annotated bibliography is in the correct format. Please reach out to me with any questions, comments, or concerns. I am here to fully support you in this process. Even though I cannot give you any feedback on an assignment before it's submitted, I can still work with you if you have any questions about sourcing or formatting. Okay, congratulations. Good luck here in week 5. I look forward to supporting you, participating on the discussion board forums, and reading your annotated bibliography.